What we are looking at today is a different type of headset bearing system. So this is what came on one of the bikes. I'll show you the shell parts first. So this was on the bottom of the head tube, and what we've got is kind of like an outer race, an inner race, and then a lock ring that goes from memory on this side, so that it then slots into this kind of groove here that you can see hopefully on the inner part of the bearing. Let me just find the gap. So just to demonstrate the lock ring, so it goes there and then keeps everything in place. Now what I've been doing is I've just cleaned the ball bearings inside this cartridge. Yeah, I haven't really seen this much. These are actually quite tricky from the point of view as well. So they are actually pressed into the head tube. So what you got to do is you got to punch them out, which makes it a little bit harder to work with compared to a standard cartridge bearing that you just drop into the head tube. Yeah, just very quickly, this is where the bearings go. So that's the seat I was talking about, and the bearing drops in there. You have to press them in top and bottom. So yeah, a bit different to your normal sealed bearing setup. This is, I believe it's called semi-integrated, so that's how it sits. Let's try and put some of these bearings back in from memory. Again, might be difficult to see in the video, but there's actually a little kind of edge or ridge here. So when I pulled these apart, all the bearings were still just sitting there. So I think if this is completely flat and this is the outer part of the shell, they should sit there nicely. So what I'm going to try and do is just basically add some grease in there first, and then see if I can drop the bearings in and then put the inside casing back on as well. This will be the fun part. Now, what I normally do with bearings is you can use a magnetic screwdriver like this one here to lift them up. They can be really hard to drop off though. So what I'm going to try is I'll just see if I wonder if there's another way. Maybe I can use the shell as a guide. So I'm just going to use the shell from this other one. Let's see if I can get it. So this is was on the top of the headset, the matching bearing in a shell. So what I was thinking is maybe if I do this, that'll help them fall into the right slot, maybe. So, and then we'll use a bit of paper or something. Okay, so what we've got here is just a bit of funnel and see if we can kind of pour some of these bearings roughly into the right place. Yep, that's kind of what I expected. So it's working as planned. Okay, missed a couple. Gotta pick those back up. There we go. A bit of a hack to just get them in a little bit quicker. So obviously you can do this and put them in one by one. And this is the issue that I often run into, where they really do like to stick, especially the small ones, onto the screwdriver. Okay, so we've got our bearings roughly in the right place. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna readjust them a little bit, and this is now just a cable tie, so we don't have any magnetic edge on it. Makes it a little bit easier. I've got kind of two-story piggybacking happening here now, so that's looking pretty good. And obviously the inside is just the shell from the opposite side, the upper bearing cartridge. So I'm just gonna pull this out, put it to the side. Pop that away, try and keep all the parts in order. And then I've got the inner side, but just before we look at that, so if I just kind of try and show you, so see how they're now stuck to the grease as well, but what's nice about that little edge is that it's actually holding the bearings in place. So I should be able to get that inner part of the cartridge in fairly easily, I'm hoping. Just as we get this gray one back in here. Here we go, that's looking pretty good. And here's our pre-greased inner side, so dropping that in. And funnily enough, it's actually, here we go, that's good. I imagine that the tolerance has to be fairly tight for this to work, so that's our inner and outer both in place, all re-greased and ready to go except for the lock ring, so we'll try and put that back in without exploding the whole unit. Sometimes these are easy and sometimes they're really difficult, so let's see which one this is going to be. So I'm going to start from the open end, just try and get it around that edge there. These were a little bit tricky to get out as well. I think from memory, I needed one of these tools to actually pop them out, which I might need again. It's not wanting to go in. So give me one sec. So what might be happening here is that the inner is not quite pushed in enough into the outer. So I might need some kind of a helper. So I'm just going to use the inner from the other cartridge. I'm going to pop this whole setup on top of that and then see, that's now starting to come apart. Let's see if I can keep it. Okay, so now it looks like the inner is poking out that little bit more from the outer, and maybe this way we can get the lock ring back in a bit easier. That seems to have done the trick. So importantly, because I lifted it, I'm just going to check that I don't have any loose ones poking out. So that seems like it's all done now. So you can see the lock ring there, so that's holding the whole unit together. And I've got my inner shell, outer shell, I've got all the bearings back in, and this should be ready to reinstall now. Just got to do the other side, but yeah, that's basically the job. So same deal with this other side. So we're just going to do the re-greasing first. It's the inner, probably overdid it a little bit. The outer, and we'll try and do the same kind of thing, except I can't now because I've already I shouldn't have re-greased that before. It's just gonna try it. It's gonna make a bit of a mess, but that's okay. Same deal as before. Okay, I lost a couple there. Coming off a little bit too quick from this cap. That's okay. And yeah, this is the fun game with individual bearings. Who's gonna win? That's it. Okay, I've lost one there, that's fine. Get the double deckers back down. The nice thing with this type of bearing is, unlike wheel bearings, sometimes there's actually quite a big gap, so it's hard to tell whether you've actually put in enough bearings or not. Whereas in this case, obviously I've made sure that I didn't lose any along the way, but it's pretty full, so you can kind of visually tell that it's got all the bits and bobs that it needs to. So I'm just going to use this other guy as the stand now, and here's the question as to whether I can get this apart without everything getting stuck to the upside down inner of this setup. So far so good. Excellent. Okay. Again, since I've re-greased it, I don't really want to touch any of that because I don't have the cleanest gloves on. So try and drop this guy back in like that. Then give it a bit of a jiggle. Pop that pre-constructed one underneath, and then that'll, again, I don't know if it's visible, but what I'm basically trying to do here is keep the edge raised so that then it's easier to guide the lock ring in place. And yeah, the other thing, the story with the tray is that I've spent so much time looking for rogue bearings on the floor that I'm always trying to do this job with inside some kind of container, just to avoid the stray ones popping all over the place. So let's see if we can get this lock ring back in. Yes, it's actually really easy when you've got the middle raised or the inner raised. So that's our, I think that was the original top side. It's, yeah, feeling so much better than what it did before the reco. So that's our top side done. And then our bottom side. Interestingly, something that feels different about these two is that there's a little bit of vertical play, but it's actually quite limited in this bottom side. It's a little bit more prominent on this top side, so it almost feels like it's lost a bearing. I don't think it has. Maybe it's just more worn, I'm not sure. But yeah, definitely you can see that there. There's a lot more play up and down on the top side bearing, whereas like on this bottom side bearing, yeah, there's play there too. It's just, yeah, just a bit more prominent on the top side. Anyway, that's the job for today. Hopefully that was helpful.